infinite goodness, truth, and beauty, God, who is mind and spirit. I pray for this body of seniors in their final moments as college students. May this day be free from fear. Let it be momentous and celebratory, a reminder of all they can achieve and accomplish. May what they have learned here bring comfort and reflection in times of struggle and suffering to come. I thank you for the families and friends with us today, for their support of our students, and for their share in this accomplishment, for the often invisible and inexpressible efforts of the mothers, for unconditionally supportive and consistent fathers, active aunts and uncles, wise and caring grandparents, for the siblings, older and younger. I give you thanks. Over the past 4 years, many of these students have faced the death of a loved one. We have lost friends and members of our families. We remember the spirit of those who have died, those who cannot be with us here today in the body. We remember them, carrying them with us always. I thank you for these Wabash students filled with life and promising plans. I pray for them. Whatever their path through Wabash may have been, let their efforts not be in vain. May they continue what they have started here. May they encounter problems and resolve them. May they achieve success and know their neighbor. May they know awe and rest. Bless them. Bless, O God, the faculty of Wabash College who have worked closely with these students. I thank you for their commitment to a life of learning, wisdom, and the formation of the whole self. May their efforts resound over the lifetime of these seniors. As we celebrate this great and well-earned ritual, let us all renew our shared responsibility as members and stewards of this fine college. Let us be wise caretakers of its traditions. Lift the eyes of these young men to the possibility of the future. Let their hearts be sturdy for what lies beyond the arch. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, to this 188th commencement ceremony at Wabash College. To the class of 2026, congratulations. It seems as though the last 4 years have flown by. It seems like just yesterday when all of us packed into a very warm Pioneer Chapel, and I rang you into the company of good men. On that day, I had just read an article by the New York Times columnist David Brooks, who offered up some very great bits of wisdom and life advice that I shared with you. Now, that was a long time ago. I suspect after one day, you don't remember what I'd said, certainly after 4 years. So let me remind you of one of the pearls of wisdom I offered you 4 years ago. Build identity capital. Commit to doing 3 fascinating things that job interviews and dinner companions will want to ask you about for the rest of your life. While no 2 of you have taken the same path through Wabash, I can assure you that you have at least one fascinating thing to share in that job interview or that dinner with friends. You are a Wabash man. So now and for the rest of your life, you can say that you chose the road less traveled. You persevered through times of triumph and tragedy with brothers who loved and supported you. You spent 4 years discovering who you are. Indeed, you are Wabash men. 2 months ago, a small group of alumni joined me for dinner in Indianapolis with Richard Reeves. He wrote the book of Boys and Men. When one of the alumni asked Dr. Reeves to describe quote, a good man, Reeve struggled a bit, but he eventually relented and said, a good man is one who contributes more than he takes. Thank you, gentlemen, for the many ways you have contributed to your classrooms, your living units, your sports teams, and to each other. Wabash is better because of you. You have been supported in this Wabash journey by your teachers, coaches, staff, and Wabash brothers who encouraged you at every step you've taken. And it was, of course, your parents and guardians who made that all possible. Graduates of the class of 2026, please rise and give all the people who have shaped you into the good man you are today a heartfelt round of applause. Gentlemen of the class of 2026, congratulations. You made it. I think about how much has changed since that warm August day 4 years ago. I think about wars abroad and political division at home, the emergence of artificial intelligence in every aspect of our lives, an epidemic of loneliness, and an uncertain job market. It may be unfortunate that this is the world you inherit, the world you are now called to lead, but I know you're ready. You have taken rigorous classes that built intellectual breadth and depth. You wrestled with genuinely hard questions, and in doing so, you demonstrated vulnerability and humility. You are extraordinarily accomplished. Among you are men heading to the best excellent medical and law schools, graduate programs, exciting careers. Many of you are Orr Fellows and Fulbright Fellowship winners. You're all Americans who have shattered Wabash sports records and demonstrated Wabash always fights is not just a slogan. You are also award-winning journalists who produced the state's best college newspaper, dynamic artists who performed across the country and around the world and on this campus. And in keeping with our mission to live humanely, all of you are dedicated community servants. Most important, you have become a band of brothers. You are among men right now who will support you now and throughout your lives, in times of great celebration and in times of difficulty. In keeping with long-standing tradition, 2 members of the senior class are the only speakers at our commencement. And it is a great honor for me to introduce them. Precious Ainabor and Quinn Sholar Jr. Precious majored in biochemistry and earned a minor in theater. He is a member of Phi Gamma Delta, the Malcolm X Institute of Black Studies, and the Global Health Initiative. He has been honored with our most prestigious awards in chemistry and theater, while overseeing costume wardrobes for every theater production the past 3 years. He's a talented costumer, but Precious plans to attend medical school. He is the son of Augustine and Florence Ainabor and hails from Nigeria. Quinn Sholar Jr. majored in art and economics and was a 2-time chair of the Malcolm X Institute of Black Studies. He was also active in the Sphinx Club, Student Athlete Advisory Council, and the Sons of Wabash. He served as captains of our football and track and field teams, earning All-American honors in both sports. He is our school record holder in the shot put and weight throw, and we're waiting to see what happens at that national meet next week, and the Senior Award of Merit. Quinn received an Orr Fellowship and will begin working with the Mind Trust in Indianapolis. He is from Indianapolis. He is the son of Quinn Sholar and Ashaki Sholar. These outstanding young men will speak in order without further introduction.
Good afternoon, Wabash. In 2021, I had just been denied a U.S. visa to come study in the United States and missed out on the chance of being in the class of 2025. At the same time, my backup college in Nigeria had been temporarily closed down again. I remember sitting with the weight of both of these events with anxiety, not knowing which direction my life was going. It was my mother who pulled me out of this moment. She simply reminded me that there is a time for everything. A time to play, a time to sleep, and a time to work. A time to dress fancy, and a time to have a dating partner. And yes, she also used that last one to make sure I wasn't getting ahead of myself. But in that very moment, what she was really saying was, "Precious, maybe this is not your time." And so I waited. With the reminder of my mom, I came to understand that there is a time to walk into college, and there's a time to work out and begin the rest of our lives. There is a time to walk into college. As a young boy from Nigeria, on August 17th, 2022, I left for the United States for the first time. I remember my siblings standing around me as I loaded my only carry-on bag into the trunk. One bag. That was everything I was bringing into the new life. When it was time to finally leave, nobody said goodbye, no hugs, just see you later, as if saying a real goodbye would make it too real. I think we were all in disbelief. It became apparent after subsequent conversations with my parents and my family that they weren't even sure I would make it here in the first place. And honestly, neither was I. The flight was my first time on an aircraft, my first time outside of Africa, and the longest journey I'd ever taken. I remember thinking what the new life would shape up to be. I did not say all of this to make you think my story was any different or unique, although some people might suggest otherwise. Because when I arrived on campus on August 20th, 2022, I looked around and saw it on everyone's faces. You, class of 2026, and families alike. Quiet, guarded, and afraid of the uncertain. We are all carrying something in our hearts and minds that we didn't quite have words for just yet. Some of us were the first in our household to come to college. Some of us realized for the first time that we'll be doing our own laundry. Spending months away from mommy and daddy for the first time. And realizing for the first time that no one was going to cook our delicious and familiar home-cooked meals. 265 of us, some from towns 30 minutes away, others from New York, California, Florida, and others still from Ethiopia, Tunisia, India, Brazil, and the list goes on and on. Just close enough to drive home for the weekend, far enough that home was a different continent. We're all people with different stories, but that same quiet fear on all of our faces. There's a time to struggle. When we got to campus, we instantly knew that the clock wasn't going to stop. Even as freshmen, a lot was demanded from us. We began taking classes that required us to read 50-page papers, 50 pages on topics that we didn't know about or even care about. We were forced to write 20-page papers, go through fraternity pledgeship or new member education, win games, break PRs, write for the college newspaper, coordinate on-campus events, rehearse for upcoming theatrical performances, all while being expected to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. We understood the importance of sleep, but we also understood that those papers weren't going to write themselves. Even though we came in with different stories, being different at Wabash did not always feel safe. Some of us dealt with slurs spray painted on fraternity walls. Some of us read words in Yik-Yak that made us question whether we truly belonged in a place that preached brotherhood, that was advertised to us before we even got here. There was a time to grow, and we did. For some of us, that growth was making new friends you spend most of your time with, having conversations with them about your school and personal lives. It was getting involved with a cause on campus that we love and believe in. It was speaking up when we felt uncomfortable. It was studying for that OChem exam that the upperclassmen said would ruin your GPA. Taking a break to celebrate a weekend with family and friends after a long while. Losing in an athletic competition, sitting with that loss overnight, and walking back into the gym or onto the field the next day anyway. Our sitting here today means we never stop showing up for ourselves, for our friends, for our teammates, for our coaches, for our faculty and staff, or for the families seated here today. For me, growth looked like making costumes and doing so at the costume shop for every play all through my 4 years. It was balancing that with my time in the biochemistry lab, working alongside people that shared my curiosity, all while fielding questions about why anyone would combine a biochemistry major and a theater minor. It was standing in front of an unfamiliar audience in a different city to present my research. It was learning to play the piano for the first time and then standing in front of an audience for my first ever recital. More nervous than ever imagined. It's also giving this speech today. We all had version of this. The details were just different. All of these moments have prepared us for the times that are ahead of us. In the words of Nelson Mandela, when you finally get to the top of a hill, you realize there are many more hills to climb. For many of us, the road from here, we feel very much like that week of August 20th, 2022. Stepping into a new and different life for the first time, carrying one bag, not knowing a single person, unsure of where it would take us or who it would lead us to. I spent some time thinking what advice I can pass on to my fellow Wabash brothers through my own experience, the lessons I've learned from leaving Nigeria and arriving somewhere entirely new. There is a time to ask for help. I think it is quite ironic as someone who struggled with this, but it is perhaps the most helpful advice I can give as someone who had to start a life by myself. I started it, but it was the people I met along the way that got me through. It was a quick ride to Walmart by a fraternity brother, a pickup from the airport by a friend, or a place to stay over the breaks. It was the winter breaks when I needed a place to stay. And I'm thankful for the families here today, the Masons and the Hughes, for taking me in as a family away from home. Even in times when I was too scared to ask for help, they offered. I just needed to say yes. Ask for help, because I've learned from these people and many others during this journey that the community around us wants to see us succeed. The professor whose office hours you've been avoiding, the brother in your chapter you've not yet opened up to, the friend you think has enough of their own problems. Most of them are waiting to help. Let them. Our friends will get us through our toughest times because the beauty of our experience depends a lot on the community around us. And at every instant, be thankful for the people who have made an impact in your life. because every day is a good time to be thankful. And so I will end on a note of gratitude for the Wabash faculty and staff, Dr. Novak, Dr. Sorensen, Brandon Thompson, Amy Ware, Kim King, Dean Jones, Dr. Abbott, Cherry Everett, and many others for their investment in my growth in and out of the classroom. My fraternity of Phi Gamma Delta for taking in the cool and quiet kid from Nigeria. And the Malcolm X Institute of Black Studies for their constant reminder to be the best version of myself. To my dad, who's here today for the first time, you've been a quiet push behind everything I've achieved and everything I intend to achieve. Thank you for teaching me never to quit when time gets hard. Mom, this speech was born from your own words. You've never stopped believing in me, even when I doubted myself. Thank you for your unending love. And to my siblings, your love and respect continue to drive me every single day. Most importantly, thank you to the class of 2026 for making these last 4 years remarkable. For us, there was a time to arrive, there was a time to struggle, there was a time to grow, and now is the time to begin the rest of our lives. Congratulations to class of 2026.
Good afternoon, Wabash. To the faculty, staff, friends, families, and most importantly, my brothers of the class of 2026. First, I want to give all glory to God, who's the head of my life, who is my life, and without him, there'd be no life. Next, I want to start with expressions of gratitude. To my mom, for having faith in me, even when I was still figuring it out. Your love gave me confidence, even when I doubted myself. To my dad, you have always pushed me to be honest with myself and to never settle for less than my full potential. To my grandparents, for every prayer, encouraging words of wisdom, and helping shape my success, and more importantly, my character. To my siblings, who have always held me down through the laughs, the struggles, the bond we share will always mean the world to me. To my beautiful, lovely lady, Jada, your support gave me peace and happiness during some of the most stressful moments of this journey. To all of my coaches, faculty, and staff, thank you for preparing me and the class of 2026, not just for a career, but for life. Your village of mentorship has extended far beyond the classroom, the office, the field, or the ring. To my brothers of the MXIBS, for providing the space for me to be authentically me and providing a home here on campus. And lastly, I want to express my gratitude to the Commencement Committee for deeming my brother and I worthily qualified for this opportunity. It is a blessing and an honor to be standing in front of you all today. Now, I must admit, I was making the biggest mistake early in my Wabash career. My uncs, alumni, Jordan Thomas and Dev Jimenez, will always open their door for a young buck like me to come over and chill. I'm pretty sure we've all had seniors do this for us. Generally, I would go over and just sit on my phone, doom scroll, just brain rotting, and then jump in the conversation when I felt like it was appropriate or when I needed to. Then the day came when they were tired of my partial participation, and Jordan leans over and goes, "Man, put your phone down. Join the conversation. You'll miss it when it's gone." Humble enough to show my humility, I put my phone away and gave the room my undivided attention. While I was confused in the moment on why I needed to be so involved, I also wondered why I would miss it. Reflecting on this message, I thought that I missed the big things, the wins, the records, the traditions. But standing here now, I realize that's not what they meant. I missed the conversations I almost didn't have. I missed the people I hung out with every day without realizing they were changing me. I missed a version of myself that was still in progress. I'd blink, and the opportunity would be gone just like that. Fortunately, our class understood that we had the opportunity to restructure Wabash as the first class to not experience any COVID protocols on campus. There's been a lot of initiative taken through restoring what it means to belong here on campus. Everyone doesn't find the same sense of belonging, but many leave calling this place home. And home is not always defined by comfort alone. For some, the comfort of home was found on a team, in meaningful conversations, or simply just being there for one each other and showing up. While for others, it came through conquering a challenge, overcoming adversity, and growing through the lessons learned along the way. Now, why is that? We end up falling in love with the struggle of this place, not with the exams, the meetings, the late nights, with the versions of ourselves that are still unpolished. My fight came with balancing academics, athletics, and assuming leadership roles in organizations while all questioning how ready or prepared I was. Wabash forces you to let people see the parts of you that you're still working on and experience the unfinished product of yourself. And better yet, it provides a space to make mistakes and for you to grow from them. Junior year, I had an indoor track meet at Anderson, and in the heat of the season, I had yet to reach my personal best in my favorite event, shot put. I hadn't beat my personal record since my freshman year on the very first throw. After yet another mediocre performance, Coach Morgan catches me tearing up, sitting in the corner all by myself. And of course, he comes over to ask me, "What's wrong?" And I respond, "I just don't know what's wrong with me, Coach. I put in all this work for none of it to pay off. All I want is to beat that mark from my freshman year." Assuming he picked up on the hint that I was so fixated on the past that he then says, "You can't look toward to the future stuck on the past. You can't look forward to the future stuck on the past." And that hit me hard, right where it hurt. I was so overwhelmed with chasing the past me that I never made room for the athlete, the student, the man I was growing to become. The goal had outweighed the process to get there the further I got away from December 10th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, fall in love with the process and let the goal guide your vision. The goal can only be achieved through putting the work in. It is made up of all the small moments of discipline, consistency, and integrity. No one else sees the amount of time, effort, or energy put into yourself or your studies behind closed doors. So don't get too far ahead of yourself or cheat yourself out of focusing on what's important right now, and that's being where your feet are. I first heard this phrase from Coach Omi one day, walking into practice, helmet low, my cleats picking up turf, around this very field at that end of the end zone. He pulls me aside to tell me, "Be where your feet are, bro." And that simple phrase has made all the difference to the way I approach life. This phrase to me means that if your mind is wandering to a place that you're not physically, then bring your focus right to where your feet are, to the right now. As someone who is quick to prepare and look towards the next task to do, the next meal, tomorrow, and the future, I catch myself in the now, dozing off about what it is I have to do next. Occasionally, this would be a good thing when it comes to preparation, but more times than not, I skip the valuable time that I've been granted right now. And with the platform I have right now, I want to say thank you to the class of 2026 for leaving Wabash better than you found it. On my first visit here, The one thing I found most impressive about this place, that there was no trash on the ground anywhere. And the person giving me the tour told me at the very beginning that there was no trash. So I went the whole time looking. I was looking. None at all. The standard was set for us as we came into Wabash. And it is our responsibility to uphold that standard as we receive our diplomas today. We are at the finish line of Wabash College. And this finish line is a starting line for new beginnings and new goals. We're leaving this place today not as finished products, but as works in progress. Wabash was never meant to make us perfect. It was meant to prepare us to enter the world, willing to learn, adapt, fail, and grow. So focus on your now. Focus on your now, right where your feet are. And when you look back, do not reminisce and regret, because you failed to appreciate the chapter you were in right now. Day by day, continue to lock in or clock in for the rest of your life. So today, I do not want to say goodbye. Goodbye feels too permanent for a place that thrives off connecting. Instead, I say see you later, and I advise you to do the same. But say it with intention, to stay connected, to check on your brothers every once in a while, to continue building the community that built you. Because although our time here may be ending, the impact of Wabash is not for 4 years, it's for life. Congratulations, class of 2026. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of Old Wabash. Alma mater.
Yeah.
Mr. President,
Mr. Secretary.
Mr. President, it is my great honor to present to you Reverend John I. Jenkins so that you may confer upon him the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you. In 1973, a young transfer student from Omaha arrived at the University of Notre Dame carrying little more than curiosity, faith, and a belief that ideas matter. He did not know then that one day he would lead that institution, the institution he had come to love, only that it seemed, in his own words, an exciting place. The excitement, it turned out, was mutual. Reverend John Jenkins, philosopher, priest, teacher, and the 17th president of Notre Dame University, you have spent a lifetime proving that a great university need not choose between intellectual ambition and the life of the Spirit. Educated in philosophy at Notre Dame and Oxford, and in theology at the Jesuit School of Theology at Berkeley, you were ordained a Holy Cross priest in 1983 and joined Notre Dame's faculty in 1990. You quickly became a beloved teacher of ancient and medieval thought and the work of Thomas Aquinas. Your first vocation was the classroom and the transformative conversation between teacher and student about the questions of how we ought to live and what we owe to one another. When you were elected president in 2005, you called the appointment a gift and a calling and said Notre Dame would become, quote, one of the preeminent research institutions in the world, a center of learning where intellectual and religious traditions converge to make it a healing, unifying, enlightening force for a world deeply in need. Over nearly 2 decades, you made good on that promise. External research funding grew to nearly $300 million annually, and the university's endowment surpassed $20 billion. Financial aid doubled for undergraduates, ensuring that every admitted student's demonstrated need was fully met. You transformed the physical campus and forged partnerships that brought unprecedented investment in South Bend and the region. When the COVID pandemic shuttered campuses across the country, you made the decision to bring back 4 in-person instruction because of your deep conviction that education is an act of presence, of being together in the pursuit of understanding. Over the arc of your career, you have remained a priest who listened, a teacher who questions, and a leader who believes in service and purpose. Upon announcing your decision to step down in 2024, you thanked your community by saying, "The best part of my job has been you, my colleagues, and the students of Notre Dame." Recognized as one of the most consequential university leaders of your generation and elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, you've now returned to teaching, writing, and the life of the mind in service of the Spirit. At Wabash, we understand something about the power of a close community of learning, about the bond between teacher and student, and about what it takes to educate the whole person. In you, Father Jenkins, we recognize a person and a life that reminds us why that matters. Wabash College salutes you for a life of scholarship, faith, and transformative leadership, and for your enduring belief that a university can be both intellectually fearless and spiritually alive. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Wabash College and delegated to that board by the state of Indiana, I do hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining, of which this citation shall be a permanent witness.
Thanks so much. This means the world, Scott.
Thank you.
God bless.
Mr. President,
Mr. Secretary.
Mr. President, it is my great honor to present to you William Thomas Lucky Jr., Wabash College class of 1982, so that you may bestow upon him the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you. In 1983, a 23-year-old Wabash graduate drove south to Columbia, a small town in rural south-central Kentucky, to join the admissions staff of Lindsey Wilson College. It was a 2-year junior college enrolling roughly 500 students, most of whom were first-generation students living in one of the most economically distressed regions of our country. It was, by most measures, an unlikely place to build a life's work. But Bill, you saw something else entirely. You came to Wabash from Louisville as a first-generation college student with talent, grit, and a little bit of stubbornness. You poured yourself into everything this college offers, starting at second base for the Little Giants all 4 years, leading Delta Tau Delta and the Intra-Fraternity Council, and earning the Paul T. Hurt Award for all-around freshman achievement. You made the dean's list, completing a degree in biology. One of your biology professors, Os Brooks, showed you what can happen at a small college that fiercely believes in its students. You have carried that lesson through your life. At Lindsey Wilson, you arrived as a young man willing to do whatever the place needed. Over 14 years, you worked in enrollment, development, administration, and finance. You earned an MBA and a PhD in educational administration. You learned every aspect of how that college functioned because you believed in giving students a chance that few other institutions were willing to give them. In 1997, the Board of Trustees elected you Lindsey Wilson's 8th president. What you have built from that moment is extraordinary. Under your leadership across 29 years, whew, Lindsey Wilson became the fastest growing independent liberal arts college in the state of Kentucky. That sleepy junior college now enrolls nearly 4,000 students from 40 states and 50 countries, offering 56 undergraduate majors, 5 master's programs, and a doctoral degree. You led a campaign that transformed the campus with new facilities for science, for student life, residential living, and health professions. And just last summer, Lindsey Wilson College officially became Lindsey Wilson University, with 12 locations across 5 states. You've said the name change took longer than it should have, and that the delay was entirely your own doing. I was a graduate of Wabash College, you said. I looked at the top 100 liberal arts colleges and universities in this country. Most of the highest quality institutions were called colleges rather than universities. Your legacy extends far beyond a new name. It's defined by staying true to yourself and your belief in education. Today, roughly 2/3 of Lindsey Wilson's students receive federal Pell Grants. Over 1/3 are first-generation college students. They come from the kinds of families and the kinds of towns where a college degree once seemed beyond reach. And they come home because you've spent 43 years making sure the door would be open when they arrived. 44 years ago, you were a first-generation student from Louisville crossing this stage at commencement. You have spent every year since ensuring that thousands of others in the hills of Kentucky and far beyond can find a place that believes in them before they truly believe in themselves. The Wabash motto is knowledge and virtue. Bill, you have multiplied our motto's meaning life by life, class by class, year after year. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Wabash College and delegated to that board by the state of Indiana, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining, of which this citation shall be a permanent witness. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Secretary,
Mr. President, it is my great honor to present to you Ann B. Walsh so that you may bestow on her the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters.
thank you. And you understand that the most consequential investments are made in people. It's a conviction that has guided you through nearly 4 decades in finance, and one you and your husband, Tom Walsh, class of 1973, have expressed with extraordinary generosity to the college you love. As Chief Investment Officer of Guggenheim Partners Investment Management, you help oversee approximately $350 billion in assets. That figure is staggering, but yet you have never lost sight of what the figures represent: the trust of individuals who depend on wise stewardship. You have said, "We are caretakers of our clients' money. There is an individual whose money we are protecting." Your belief that responsibility to others is the foundation of professional life defines your leadership, and it has earned you wide respect across the financial world. Your path reflects discipline, talent, and determination. You completed an accounting degree at Auburn University at age 19, later earned an MBA there, and then pursued a law degree at the University of Miami while studying at night while building your career. You have been recognized repeatedly by Barron's as one of the most influential women in finance. You've participated in the World Economic Forum, and you regularly bring your keen insight to audiences through Bloomberg and CNBC. Yet even with all that influence, your reputation rests on the character of your leadership, which is imbued with rigor, humility, and deep confidence in the people around you. Those same qualities have driven your family's philanthropy. At Wabash, Tom found the education and the community that would shape his life. As an alumnus, trustee, and generous donor, he repaid that debt many times over. But yet, together, you and Tom brought a thoughtful vision for what a liberal arts education should prepare our young men to do. That vision and your generosity created the college's interdisciplinary major in philosophy, politics, and economics, which has quickly become one of Wabash's most popular majors. You understand that the hardest questions in public life are not confined to a single discipline, and that preparing students for leadership requires them to think broadly and deeply across many fields. PPE equips students with the intellect, ethics, and integrated judgment to wrestle with questions of justice, power, and human flourishing. Your commitment didn't stop with the major. You endowed the Tom and Ann Walsh Professorship of PPE, ensuring that this program will be sustained for generations, as well as the Outstanding Senior Award in PPE to honor those students who exemplify the highest aspirations of the major. Through your generosity, Wabash students will continue to engage the ideas that shape public life, think across the boundaries that too often divide us, and prepare for lives of ethical leadership. And you have modeled disciplined judgment, a commitment to your colleagues and your clients, and an abiding faith in the transformative power of liberal arts education. In your generosity to this college, you have invested in those ideals and in our students. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Wabash College and delegated to that board by the state of Indiana, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining, of which this citation shall be a permanent witness. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Secretary,
Mr. President, it is my great honor to present to you the Wabash College class of 2026 so that you may bestow upon them the in-course degree Bachelor of Arts.
thank you. Gentlemen in the class of 2026, please rise. Gentlemen, you will soon receive your diplomas, which are written entirely in Latin. And affixed to your diploma is our sacred seal, which says in Latin, Scientiae Virtuti. Your diploma calls you to seek knowledge and virtue all throughout your lives. Whether you ascend to the corner office as a CEO, teach high school to underserved kids, practice law, preach from a pulpit, sell insurance, or conduct research in a lab, all of you have the ability to lead wise and virtuous lives. Virtues like courage, integrity, justice, and wisdom come with no price tag, and you have all the education you need to pursue them. But you must choose to be men of virtue. Choose to be men who make a difference in our troubled world. Choose a path paved with virtues to give more than you receive, and you will be good Wabash men. In doing so, you will carry forth the legacy of all those who have gone before you. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Wabash College and delegated to that board by the great state of Indiana, I do hereby confer upon you the Bachelor of Arts degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Please be seated, gentlemen. All right, now we go to work. Oh.
Ryan Eugene Adams. Precious Onoisetale Ainabor, magna cum laude. John Nicholas Alexander. Thomas Joseph Alexander. John Robert Allen, magna cum laude. Nathan Austin Allen, in absentia. Joseph Ames Ensorg, cum laude. Elijah Owen Arnold. Alexander James Aruza. Joseph Preston Art, magna cum laude. Tharakesh Ashokar. Hailemariam Tinoa Ayalna, cum laude, in absentia. Jackson David Ayers. Charles Thomas Bazek. Colin Christopher Baker. Evan Michael Baker, magna cum laude. Evan Charles Baldwin. Dylan Michael Barkley. Andrew Joseph Barsich. Arlie William Benson, Jr., cum laude. Miles Vincent Bone Burnett, cum laude. Albert Henry Bernhardt IV, summa cum laude. Carter Clinton Birch. Henry Matthew Burke, magna cum laude. Sean Michael Bledsoe, magna cum laude. William Littleton Boaz, magna cum laude. Jackson Alexander Borer, cum laude. Evan Charles Bone, summa cum laude. William Colgate Boswell, magna cum laude. Jackson Riley Boer. Malik Bouzidi, cum laude, in absentia. Lane Scott Brockman. Richard Frederick Brooks. Justin Jacob Browder. Grant Xavier Brown, cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Buzenbark. Juan Carlos Cavillo, Jr. Christian Cantu. Lucas Hilt Carpenter. Isaac Homero Casares Riley. Charles William Chaden. Canon Harris Chase, magna cum laude. Kien Chen. Benjamin Paul Cody, magna cum laude. Toby Christopher Condon, summa cum laude. Braden Nash Cooper, magna cum laude. Eric Samuel Copeland, Jr. Caden Paul Couch. Patrick Anthony Countryman, magna cum laude. Lucas Robert Cunningham. Austin Scott Robert Dalton. Garrett Clifton Dalton, magna cum laude. Mark Davletov, magna cum laude. James Thomas Day, magna cum laude. Evan Dean Dickey, magna cum laude. Hayden Matthew Deemer McKinney, cum laude. Blake Kingsbury Disher II. Patrick Matthew Donovan. Walid Ahmed Hamdi Kasab El-Kersh, magna cum laude. Nathan Vincent Ellenberger, magna cum laude. Eugene Nana Enchil. Leonard Michael Enns, magna cum laude. Jose Manuel Escalante. Caleb Paul Everson, magna cum laude. Curtis William Fawnin. Quinn Ryan Fitzgerald. Braden Travis Foster, magna cum laude. Ryan James Allen Frazier. Broderick Reed Fry. Evan Ripley Farunas. Mauricio Garcia. Niall Gavin. Braden Lee Gendron, summa cum laude. Safal Gamire, magna cum laude, in absentia. Paul Ryan Glenn, Jr. Ethan Jeremiah Gonzalez. Morgan Anthony Govakar, cum laude. Isaac Daniel Granis, summa cum laude. Deacon Andrew Green. Taishi Michael Greiner. Benedict Gerald Grill, magna cum laude. Connor Scott Grimes. Eduardo Magalhães Wernicke Guimarães. Brandon Eldon Hammer, magna cum laude. Dylan Michael Hazlitt, summa cum laude. Michael Timothy Hegwood. Joshua Cale Helms, cum laude. Rylan Michael Hendricks. Benjamin Joseph Henke. Min Ho, magna cum laude. Jesse James Herrera. Trey David Heron. Carson Douglas Heister, cum laude. Ethan Jacob Hill. Logan Garrett Holmes. Michael Bryant Shakur Holsclaw. Adonis Ibrahim Dwayne House. Jackson Oliver Hughes, magna cum laude. Gerald Wayne Hudson, cum laude. Eli Thomas Johnson. Zephaniah David Johnson. Nathaniel James Hoven, magna cum laude. Joshua Leo Judge. Garrett Anthony Kane. Randy Michael Kelly. Augusto Kerngadini, magna cum laude. Alex Edward Kindig. Ethan Michael Kahneman. Colin Michael Kraus. Dalton Keith Kuhn, magna cum laude. Connor Michael Lambert. Jeremiah Lancaster, magna cum laude. Cole Robert Langston. Brady Carl Largent, summa cum laude. Do Tri Unle, summa cum laude, in absentia. David Jacob Leal, magna cum laude. Justin Tyler Lewis, summa cum laude. Hayden Alexander Luter. Ting Lin, cum laude. Dominic Xavier Litchfield, magna cum laude. Aidan Kalani Lutz, cum laude, in absentia. Armand Luthra, summa cum laude. William Caleb Lyons. Dane Arden Market, magna cum laude. Lucas John Martin. Jesse James Martinez, cum laude. Aiden Gray Mason, magna cum laude. Joshua Isaiah Massacoy. Liam Christian McAllister, magna cum laude. Jerry David McBee, magna cum laude. Aiden Alexander McConnell, magna cum laude. Matthew Robert McElvenna, magna cum laude. William David McKinsey. Nicholas William Medendorp III. Evan Michael Miller. Isaac Avery Morrison. Adam Michael Mullet. Juan An Nguyen, summa cum laude. Jorge Giovanni Noriega Arambula. Ifan Isael Ochoa. Hunter Harms Otto, magna cum laude. Moro Andresito Pablo Mendoza. John Thomas Ponser. Preston Robert Harold Parker, magna cum laude. Jacob David Pash. Colton Joseph Pfaff. Nyan Duke Phan, magna cum laude. Logan Wyatt Phillips. Austin Cole Pickett, summa cum laude. Nick Scott Pike. Jacob Lear Pippin. Bryce Andrew Poling, magna cum laude. Braden Richard Potters, summa cum laude. Thomas Merrill Price, magna cum laude. Tanner John Quackenbush, cum laude. Silvio Emery Redice, summa cum laude. Oliver Ramos. Lucas James Rennard. Drew William Rathbun, cum laude. Edsel Reina. Samuel Joseph Ridgway. Samuel Paul Ringer. James Hayden Roach. Grant Randall Roberts. Hunter Brock Robertson. Maximus Rosa. Andrew Thomas Ross, cum laude. Stuart Hunter Haber Rowland. Christopher Byron Royal, magna cum laude. Broderick Newton Rucker. Christopher James Runyon, summa cum laude. Gavin Paul Rupert. Brandon Salas Guadarrama. Augustin Joseph Sanchez, summa cum laude. Samuel Reed Santiago. Samuel Robert Saunders. Drew Jameson Scanlon. Trey James Shube, magna cum laude. Gavin David Shippert, magna cum laude. John Paul Augustin Schneri, summa cum laude. Zachary Robert Schroeder. Logan Mac Schaefer. George Truman Shagley. Cole Jacob Schifferly, magna cum laude. Quinn Anthony Sholar II, summa cum laude. Barrett Neville Smith. Brennan James Smith, cum laude. Timothy Song. Ethan James Sparks. Justin Andrew Spurgeon. Kobe Jaden Stevens, cum laude. Connor Bruce Stidham. Evan Christopher Stonis. Bennett Chadwick Strain, magna cum laude. Alexander Kyle Straw, summa cum laude. Oscar Henry Stewart. Sawyer Scott Stuckey. Joshua James Taylor. Landon Carter Timmons, magna cum laude. Braden Alexander Tippett. Jacob D. Tomich. Xavier Devon Tyler, magna cum laude. Grant Ross Umali, cum laude, in absentia. Angel Gabriel Vasquez. Noah J. Villalon, magna cum laude. Samuel Martin Vogel, magna cum laude. Patrick Carey Volk. Harrison Paul Wainman. James Paul Wallace, magna cum laude. Benjamin Eli Weaver. Joshua Daniel Wack. Lance Jordan Williams, cum laude. Sylvester Williams IV. Carson Joel Wirtz, summa cum laude. Jackson Charles Edward Ware, cum laude. Jonathan Austin Young, magna cum laude. Evan Zambrano.
Men of the Wabash class of 2026, please stand. Gentlemen, the word commencement means to start, to begin. Today is the beginning of the rest of your lives. We have spent 4 years preparing you to meet the opportunities and the challenges that await you. We've taught you to be gentlemen, to live by a single rule, and to be good men. Your liberal arts education was imbued with empathy and compassion. You are critical thinkers, effective communicators, and problem solvers. You have built stores of resilience that will get you through the hard times ahead. Our prayer for you is that you will be men of substance, men of virtue, and that you will change this world. Our charge to you is simple. Go forth and do exactly that. What an afternoon, and what a beautiful day. Before I give the instructions for how we leave, I just want to say it usually takes a day to put this stadium together for commencement. Our team did it in about an hour, and I'd like us to give a big round of applause. Before we close with the singing of Old Wabash, I'll remind you the recessional will be led by members of the platform party, board of trustees, and faculty who will exit first. And those people will line up along Monumbell Way to welcome our graduates. I will then lead the class of 2026 through the senior arch. Men, make sure you've got those tassels slid over. And to the steps of Pioneer Chapel. The graduates will wait there for a few minutes to allow family and friends to come and join us on the mall before we sing Old Wabash one last time as a class. To help our new graduates get warmed up, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of Old Wabash, led by the Wabash College Glee Club.
Won by Christ, loyal son and highest rank shall sustain her forevermore, as in days of yore their deeds be noble and grand. Then once again ye Wabash men, three cheers for alma mater, whatever far revered by all, may she unequal stand. Our prayers are always thine, our hearts combine to sing thy praise, and shall hear thy name. For us we call it days, our past days are past, as life shall last. Our great joys shall the chorus. Dear old Wabash, thy loyal sons shall ever love thee, and o'er thy halls our scarlet flag shall proudly flash. Long in our hearts we'll bear the sweetest memories of thee. Long shall we sing thy praises, old Wabash.
Dear class of 2026, receive now this final blessing and charge. May grace and peace be upon you as you go. Go. Reflect virtue. Love knowledge. Grow in empathy. Go and be creators. Make peace. Forge love. Build cooperation. Go and teach children kindness. Look for the downcast. Seek out the estranged one. Yes, go. Make some money. But remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall be returning. And so go and be charitable. Find someone to put before yourself. Help. Go. Ask other people questions and listen. Go and speak with clarity and honesty. Let your words become treasure that others keep. Go out into the world now with curiosity. Try new things, but cultivate expertise. Go now from Wabash, but carry our mission with you as you go. Think, lead, act, and live. And so once more I say go, and may God bless you. Amen.
can be in front of me if you want. Like right in front of me, though.
You messed it up back there.